the Tech Council itself goes back 36 years. It was originally formed in Montgomery County around the development and the build-out of the universities at Shady Grove. Later, I think right around 2006, 2007, MD Bio and MD Tech merged to form what today is the Maryland Technology Council, which was when the first time that the life sciences and technology organizations came together. And then in 2016, there was another merger with the Chesapeake Regional Tech Council merging into the Tech Council of Maryland, forming what is today the Maryland Technology Council. Sure. So we're a 501c6 organization. We are the industry association throughout the state that supports both technology and life sciences companies. So we have a number of pillars of value that we provide to our membership. Fundamentally, simply put, our goal is to help our members succeed. But we do that in a number of ways. We provide advocacy support, so we work with legislators in Annapolis to a great extent, to a smaller extent with legislators on Capitol Hill, with respect to legislation that can either support or harm the membership or innovation and entrepreneurship in Maryland. We also do a lot of networking and events, if you will, opportunities for our members to connect with one another. But we also support and help our members in events outside the state. So we will attend the Bio Conference every year, or I just got back from the JP Morgan Healthcare Conference, where our role is to help our members make connections and have very successful meetings. In addition, we have a cost savings program that we offer our members. We estimate that it saves our members something on the order of $12 million per year, so it's a very significant cost savings program. And today, we also work in the areas of workforce development to help our members with some of the issues that they face. And we try as best we can to amplify their messages. So their press releases, their successes, to the extent that we can amplify those messages, we do. Well, that's an interesting question because, as you know, Chris, the technology industries have pretty much converged with everything. So even just defining what is technology these days becomes a challenge. But when you look at specifically healthcare and life sciences, there are so many areas where they intersect. We have diagnostics and medical device companies that are using artificial intelligence and deep machine learning to support their technologies. Precision medicine is another area, data analytics in precision medicine, which holds the promise of not only improving healthcare and the quality of life, but lowering the cost of healthcare overall. It's another clear point where they intersect. And then you have digital health. So you have applications that support healthcare that are pure technology, if you will. So there's a lot of areas and a lot of opportunities for overlap. And interestingly enough, to a great extent, it's happening right here in Baltimore and the Baltimore region. Mostly because we have technology coming out of or I should say emerging out of the intelligence agencies, if you will, in the area that's growing the cybersecurity space, artificial intelligence and deep machine learning, but also the life sciences, as I mentioned, and that intersection is all happening right here, central in the Baltimore area. And it's creating a very unique and extremely dynamic medical device and digital health industry in the area. Do we have a couple of hours to answer that question? No, look, the story is great, right? We have the academic institutions. We have Johns Hopkins. We have the University of Maryland. We have, as I mentioned, we have the technology. We have the cybersecurity industry that's forming and building in the area. It's probably the most significant cybersecurity hub in the country, if not in the world. We have an amazing life sciences industry that's forming originally mostly along the 270 corridor, but if you look what's been happening with Paragon Bioservices and Catalent right here in Baltimore, Emergent Bioservices opening their manufacturing facility in Baltimore. So much is happening right here in this space. And then on top of that, you add to it the proximity to the NIH, proximity to the FDA, proximity to the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. These are institutions where decisions are made that affect the entire world and certainly affect the companies in this space. To be close in proximity to those institutions is a tremendous benefit. So with all of that happening right here, and then on top of it, you've got organizations like Spark and others that are creating the community around all of this. It's just the dynamic is perfect. Anything that supports entrepreneurship and innovation is going to be beneficial to our membership, whether you're a large company or an early stage startup. The larger companies are looking for a development pipeline, so they need support of the smaller companies. There's a fair amount going on this year in the legislature with respect to taxes, because they're looking to fund necessary developments and improvements in our education system. And my message to the legislators it has been the same and consistent. We're a high corporate tax state, but that's okay, because if you look at other industry hubs, Massachusetts, California, and others, they're also high corporate tax states. But what they do to support those hubs is they provide incentives. They provide tax credits and tax breaks. They provide investment opportunities that will validate a business and an industry. So to the extent that we can provide those benefits, we can provide those incentives to entrepreneurship and innovation, we can continue to build a very robust hub here. It's a necessary component of building a successful hub. That kind of community that allows the CEOs and the executives to interact with one another, to share ideas, to bounce ideas off of one another. It helps build the momentum and the overall success of the industry. So by having Port Covington or the University of Maryland Biopark or other opportunities for collision and interaction, we're filming here at Spark, right? This is a collective community of small and early stage businesses. The founders of these businesses derive great benefit from being close to one another and being able to interact with one another, to have collision space, to bump into each other over the coffee maker in the kitchen, creates tremendous benefits. So it's all about that community and what that community brings in the form of value to industry. We represent early stage startups to big companies, Lockheed Martin, Pfizer, and a handful of others. And so we have many objectives, as you might imagine. But some of the key objectives that we have is we want to continue to build the innovation and the entrepreneurial companies in the region, because that's where the most of the employment's going to come from. And frankly, the benefit to the bigger companies, as I mentioned, the bigger companies look to the smaller companies for research and development, for extensions of their own product lines. And frankly, dynamic and energetic executives and staff. So the bigger companies need the smaller companies just as much as the small companies need the investment and the attention of the larger companies. So to support that ecosystem, if you will, to support that value between them. So making sure that from a state and legislative perspective that we're promoting innovation and entrepreneurship, and we're not doing anything to inhibit it, is critically important to us. To continue to make sure that we're facilitating those connections and helping those CEOs and founders meet the right people to raise capital, to find strategic partnerships, is critical to us. And as I said early on, fundamentally it all boils down to helping our members succeed. That's our focus. Well, we're talking 2029. That's 9 years out, and so much can happen in 9 years. Given the momentum that we've already started, I would envision that this region in the greater Baltimore area will be the cybersecurity hub of the world, if you will. This is the opportunity to continue to build on that and build the companies that are going to be needed to protect everybody. As we go forward and we become even more and more a technologically connected society, everybody's going to need security. And so the life science companies developing medical devices that incorporate technology are going to need security. The individuals that are working from home or from their offices are going to need security. And so the greater Baltimore area has the opportunity to continue to build on that and to be the center of that security for the world, as far as I'm concerned. The convergence that we were talking about earlier, I mean, we see some amazing companies developing here right now. Be Well Connected Healthcare, right? It's a technology company that's going to make healthcare, it's going to improve healthcare, it's going to lower the cost of healthcare, it's going to improve the quality of life. Right here in Baltimore is where it's being developed. We have other companies here in Baltimore, Key Tech, personal genome diagnostics, that are going to dramatically change healthcare for the better. Precision medicine that's being developed right here is going to lower the cost and improve the care. So the opportunity that I see is that the greater Baltimore area and Maryland in general becomes the hub for these key technologies going forward. Now, what are we going to need to make that happen? We're going to have to continue to grow the community. So opportunities like Port Covington, which is going to build that collision space and the opportunity for these companies to come together and collaborate and work together. The expansion at the Biopark at University of Maryland. The opportunity to develop more of these types of collaborative spaces in the greater Baltimore area are what's going to be needed to continue this momentum and to carry it forward. And then organizations like our own to help companies reach out and make the connections that they need to make, whether it's in other parts of the U.S. or throughout the world, so that we can help keep the companies connected to the rest of the world. Then I think we're in a great position.